I think you came on maybe two
It's
or
been a
three times
minute.
ago, and you said it had been a very stressful time. I remember you at one point, I mean, maybe I'm just making this up, so our listeners will correct me. But I remember you mentioning previously that you were in a pretty stressful situation, work-wise, or life in general. So have things gotten better, or you're telling me they got worse?
What? Oh,
Did I make it up?
maybe.
Okay, I might have made it up.
Did we really trade Kyle Wright? That's some bullshit.
We're gonna let you deal with that. Let's go to the theme. This is the Experience Podcast with being someone else and Kyle Wright.
Oh, we're live?
We're live. Anuj is here. He's back. We already mentioned he's a little stressed out right now, but this in particular, this is breaking news that our listeners are hearing several days later because of when the show comes out.
Well, no.
For your Braves late news you already heard. The Braves are trading Kyle Wright, and Anuj is not happy.
So before this move, we made a trade to trade Mike Soroka for Aaron Bummer, which makes sense. I mean, Mike Soroka is going to take a minute to get on the mend, so that's understandable. The package for that one is the Braves acquired Aaron Bummer for Mike Soroka, Jared Schuster, okay, fine, Braden Shoemake, Riley Goins, and Nicky Lopez. So that's a big one.
I kind of liked Jared Schuster.
He was alright. I never felt he quite got it together. Something about not attacking the zone. Like, Dylan Dodd attacked the zone. But Jared Schuster felt like always tried to make a perfect pitch.
He only played for 1 year, and he was up and down. I don't know.
That's the other thing, too.
I mean, up and down majors and minors.
Yeah, I mean, we did that to Kyle Wright for a bit, too. I mean, we ragdolled him, like, in 18 and 19, and I guess a little bit in 20. And then in 21, we let him stay in AAA. Then we brought him up to the postseason roster. And then in 22, we let him sink or swim. And then in 23, he was hurt.
23
and
was
in
hurt.
24, and still hurt. And I guess the Royals are banking on the fact that he's going to become 2022 Kyle Wright when he recovers from his shoulder surgery, and we're just trying to get peak value for him at this point.
I mean,
but,
you're not getting peak value for him. You're not. You're selling, but Braves are selling low on Kyle Wright. The problem with Kyle Wright, he's got a great curveball. I think it's always, or at least 2022, it was rated as like one of the best curveballs, up there with Nola's curveball.
He's got a great power curve, and he's got a pretty solid sinker.
And then it's an okay sinker. But the problem is, what I was getting at is none of his other pitches. He has a slider, which he needs to stop throwing, which he kind of got.
It looks like a cutter.
He's mostly got.
He
doesn't have a cutter.
It looks like a cutter. Have you seen the slider? How straight it is, and how it only breaks a little bit at the end?
Yeah, it's not a good slider. What he did in 2022, he kind of merged his old curve and his old slider into his new curveball. So he's mostly gotten rid of the slider. But either way, he's got to cut it out completely. The sinker is okay. It's fine. The four-seamer is bad. And he throws a changeup to lefties, and it doesn't really work. So he doesn't really have the point is he doesn't have anything to support his curveball. So when he doesn't have his curveball, which he usually does, and he usually has his curveball, so it's usually not an issue, and that's what happened in 2022. But if he doesn't have his curveball, then he has nothing. Then he's basically chucking sinkers.
Basically, what you're telling me is he's a worse Charlie Morton. Think about it. They're almost the same pitcher.
Well, Charlie Morton.
The way you're describing it.
Yeah, but Charlie's four-seamer is much better.
True.
But
and his curveball is much tighter.
Yes, but Kyle Wright's curveball is, again, it's very good. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And yes, there are similarities. But Charlie Morton, And Charlie Morton, he's had some up and downs in his career. So.
Repertoire-wise, Charlie Morton and Kyle Ryder, essentially the same pitcher, except I guess Charlie Morton has better secondary stuff.
Like his four-seamer just doesn't get whiffs. So what are you throwing it for? Because the sinker, he does a decent job of jamming right-handers inside, which is kind of what the sinker should be doing. The four-seamer can't get whiffs, so like if he can't get whiffs with his curveball, then what does he? Then he's got to rely on ground balls.
So while we're talking about maybe having like one good pitch and a mediocre second pitch tops, what about the case in which you have a really good first pitch, a really, really good second pitch, and then fuck all after that?
So like a two-pitch kind of a pitcher?
I think you know exactly what I'm referring to in this one.
It depends. So if you're only a two-pitch pitcher, your four-seamer needs to be your best pitch, right?
Which it is.
I know you're talking about Spencer Strider.
Well, it's half and half. Like the fastball and the slider are both very good. The fastball just pops out his hands.
Yeah.
The slider.
No. What I'm getting at is it's kind of. We kind of saw this past year. There's a lot more stability in guys with great four-seamers because you just have a much better foundation. But yes, it is tough to only have two pitches, and Strider throws his changeup like 3 times a game, so technically he has a third. But
a third pitch that he doesn't either hasn't been developed yet, or he just doesn't use.
It's kind of a little bit of both. But Strider, what Strider does is the two pitches are great, stuff-wise and location. So he locates them well. He keeps his four-seamer up and a slider down. That's kind of all you got to do. And he keeps, and he gets, and his and they're both elite pitches. But you did see sort of the cracks in it. I mean, his ERA was like, it wasn't high, but it was like, for someone, perhaps with his reputation, it was higher. It was, if you ask Braves fans, I'm sure you're looking at it right now, but if you ask Braves fans to guess his ERA, they would probably guess a run lower.
Yeah, and it was...
Are you looking it up right now? Can you guess? Would you be able to guess?
It was like 360 or something. I think.
I thought it was like 380.
Something like that. It was 386.
386, yeah. 386.
Well, he won 20 games, so. He won 20 games, and he struck out 281 batters in 186 innings.
He gets strikeouts, but I'm just saying his ERA is a little higher because he's a little more predictable in that aspect. Yeah.
I mean, you said it yourself, right? Fastball up, slider down. I mean, I think he's starting to get better. I think he's been, like, as the season progressed, he started throwing that fastball lower, which is good.
No. That's the blueprint. That's the blueprint to success. It's four-seamers up and secondaries down. And he does a great, basically that pitch separation it literally wins Blake Snell Cy Young Awards.
Yeah, but doesn't Blake Snell also throw his fastball like low every now and then? Because like you gotta have them like not sitting on the slider.
So a reporter, or I guess an analyst, I don't think it's a reporter, asked Spencer Strider. They went up to him because this is like a known thing. He's not hiding it. You could see his charts and whatever. But he went up to him. He said, "Hey, Spencer Strider, do you don't pat it like what you're saying? Don't batters pick up on it, like just throwing four-seamers up and sliders down?" And he goes, "Well, and sometimes I'll throw a four-seamer down."
Yeah.
So he knows. He acknowledges that he does it every once in a while, but like that's pretty much the key to it's easy, right? Baseball's easy, right? You throw your heaters up and you throw your
Isn't that what they say? Hitting's all about timing. Pitching is about disrupting timing.
Yeah. So, like, even though guys knew, look at Jacob DeGrom. He throws like the same. He basically throws fastballs. He throws fastball, slider, and he puts them in the same location. Basically,
yeah. He locates everything. If you want to think of it as against left-handed batters, it's down and in. He just throws the four-seamer down, and then he throws the slider right off of it. And guys know it's coming, but they can't hit it because his stuff is too good. And it's basically the same thing with Strider. Except with the wider differential in speed.
Yeah, sure. But you get what I'm saying. Like it's just four-seam slider, and guys know it's coming. But if it's good enough,
yeah.
then it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to pull up Kyle.
I liked Kyle Wright. Like, I really like Kyle Wright. He reminded me of like Charlie Morton, and I was like, listen, he is an ace. Like, if he can stay healthy and get his shit together, he will be an ace in this league. Excuse me.
Right here. Well,
I mean, Spencer Strider is definitely going to be an ace. I actually watched him pitch one game in Washington.
This guy called strikes in his four-seamer. Anyway, that's baseball. Unless you had anything else to talk about for the Braves. I haven't been following too much. I kind of tail off in the off season, just because there's other stuff going on. There's a lot of sports in the fall.
That's fair. I mean, it is interesting though. How does a guy with a opposing batting average of 210 and a walks and hits per inning pitch of 1.09, who's gotten 281 strikeouts in 186.2 innings? And let me do the math here. That's 281 divided by, I said 186 and 2/3, right? 186. God damn it.
Math. Isn't this like your job? Don't you do math all the time?
6.67 times 9. That is a 13.5 K per 9. So a 13.5 K per 9, a 210 opposing average against, and a 109 walks and hits per inning pitched has a 386 earned run average.
I mean, we're being a little alarmist. It's obviously still a very good ERA, but
oh yeah. I mean, ERA aside, Spencer Strider is still a very good pitcher. Does that speak to the predictability, though? I mean, a low whip, a low batting average against, a high K per 9, you're still giving up a 386 earned run average. Because, like, I look at his game log now, like, he's got some games where he's absolutely getting rocked. Like,
his barrel
8 runs against the Mets, 5 runs against Detroit, 5 runs against the White Sox, 6 runs against the Pirates, 6 runs against St. Louis. And then, like, he'll have, like, the random, like, 3 runs here, 4 runs there, 1 run here. But still a good number of, like, no runs, 1 run, 2 runs, handful of hits. So it is interesting, but he's definitely got ace stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the rest of his contracts.
Oh, you don't think he's staying with the Braves?
No, he is. He's locked up to like a 6x8 or 6x12.
He said the rest of his contract is if he's going to leave after the end of his contract.
Well, who knows? I mean, he's on a 6x12 right now. I mean, who knows what's going to happen after that 6 years is up? Look what happened to Freddie Freeman.
Well, Freeman signed a second contract, didn't he? Did he not?
Well, he signed the 8-year, $135 million contract, and then we couldn't keep him. And then he went to the Dodgers. I miss Freddie Freeman so much.
Well, not that you couldn't keep him. You didn't want to pay him what he was asking. From what I understand. I don't know.
You mean what his agents were trying to ask for?
All right. Whatever you want, however you want to phrase it, they didn't want to pay him the contract that he wanted, right? Is that wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't.
So
I don't remember.
I think he was on what, a 6-year, 106 year? Let me see. So after the 8-year, $135 million contract he signed with the Braves, he signed a 6-year, $162 million contract with the Dodgers. For comparison, we signed Matt Olson after we traded for him to an 8-year, $160 million contract. So that's a $27 million AAV for Freeman, and it's a $20 million AAV for Olson. And also, by the way, we've got Austin Riley for 10 years on a $13.5 million AAV.
Well, plus, so you have a $7 million annual value difference plus whatever they gave up for Olson. I don't even remember what it was. Was that the
Christian Pache, Shea Langeliers, and a couple of random pitchers?
I confused that one with the Sean Murphy trade. I don't remember.
I will admit that was a shock, but I think Sean Murphy's kind of grown on me. I'm not as mad.
Yeah, Shenry.
I mean, he's a good defensive catcher, and we've seen his offensive, we've seen his offensive upside. Time will tell if he gets back to it again.
Looking back on the Olsen trade now, that's not a bad trade for them. I mean, depending on how you feel about Shane Langoliers, I don't really.
I honestly thought William Contreras and Shea Langoliers were going to be the future behind the plate. And Christian Pache was going to be the future at center field. Then Michael Harris happened.
Christian Pache, yeah.
Christian Pache, he's a defensive / pinch running specialist. He never really got his offensive game off the ground.
That's the problem.
Feels like.
Yeah. This is why it's hard to pay attention to baseball because you have like the 4-ish month off season, right?
You really pay attention to the off season like right about now. This is when the winter meetings are happening.
You can catch up in February is kind of what I was getting toward. You could just you know, like you scroll to the
pitchers and catchers report, you mean?
Well, I just mean like a month before the season or whatever. Even March. Well, pitchers and catchers report like late February. But yeah, like late. Yeah, you could catch up in the middle of March, a week before the season starts. And just go, oh, this is what happened. You know.
Does anybody remember the lockout?
Does anyone remember the lockout?
Yeah, I remember the lockout.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, okay. Well, yeah. Sorry, I'll get back to the minute. What I'm getting at is basically baseball has such a long and dragged out off season compared to other sports.
You don't think the football off season is long and drawn out?
Well, here's what I'm getting at, Anuj. The football off season is very long and drawn out, but all the action happens on designated days, right? Free agency,
draft day and the first day of free agency.
Yeah, most of the roster movement happens at that point, like 90% of it, right? Or at least the big names, right? You're not thinking about the backup centers moving from one practice squad to the next in the middle of August, right? But I guess not August, that would be practice. But anyway, most of the big action happens on a couple designated days. You know exactly when to tune in. Baseball, you got the winter meetings, and you have you have the Arizona Fall League stuff, and you have the winter meetings, and all these other
I think we're in the winter meetings now, which is why we're getting this shit.
I know, but it's trickling in, right?
I guess so.
Let me see what's happened.
That's not what I'm looking for. I mean, we had at least for the Braves, we had Mike Soroka got traded, Kyle Wright got traded. Oh yeah, Nick Anderson randomly got traded.
Yep, I just saw that. They got Nick Anderson.
I feel nothing.
But I mean, look, Jake Bauers acquired by the Brewers. I mean, is anyone paying attention? Cal Quantrill goes to ruin his career. He goes to the Rockies. I mean,
I will say the Aaron Bummer trade feels like insurance policy for in case Tyler Matzek or Dylan Lee just flames out. Because AJ Minter's still around, and he's really good. And then who else have we still got? We don't have much in the way of lefty relievers outside of Bummer, Lee, Matzek, and Minter. So that one at least makes sense.
It's a bit of a bummer.
Nice wordplay there.
It's not even clever, It's just repeating his name.
Here's something interesting though. Braden Shoemaker's gone. Nicky Lopez is gone. Orlando Arcia still has another year left on his contract. What happens to Vaughn Grissom?
Did he played how many games in the majors last year? 3? I don't think
75. Oh wait, no, that's 75 at bats. 23 games.
Okay. 23.
He played 23 games.
And
Um,
that wasn't like, it wasn't, and it also, let me point this out, it wasn't like, oh, they didn't have any spots. Like, there were injuries, right? For what I remember. Maybe I'm making
four
this up.
games at
But they,
shortstop, for 4 games at second base, 19 games at shortstop.
yeah, they had opportunities, and they
Oh, and
decided not to.
he committed 6 errors, at shortstop.
I, I'm
But
just not sure how good he is.
he slashed 280, 313, 347.
I mean, he's still 22. I guess he'll
Yeah.
be 23 this year. So he's not that old. I don't know.
The offensive upside is there. The offensive upside is there. And
I'm
there's
just not
been
sure how good
talks
his
of
hit
Vaughn
tool
Grissom
is.
the left.
I'm just not sure how good his hit tool is. But maybe.
Nah, the man can hit. Like, the man will give you, like, a solid, just based on it, feels like the man will give you a solid, like, 280, 290-ish range, but he'll back it up with, like, subpar defense.
That's true. He can't field. That was.
The
I just
unfortunate thing,
don't
too, is that Ron Washington is gone.
I don't know how much more upside I guess in his profile I see, but maybe there's something there. I don't know. It's kind of this.
I like him as a hitter. There's a lot of talk of Vaughn Grissom in the left field, so that'll be interesting. I mean, as long as he can catch ball, run fast, and throw big. Throw fast, I guess. Throw hard.
But yeah, all right. Well, that's one.
Which has me thinking Luke Waddell is probably the future at shortstop.
I'm trying to think of what else they have. I'm sure they'll just.
Well, we need a backup infielder. Maybe it's Luke. Maybe it's Waddell, but maybe they get somebody off the street.
I think they get.
Like, the way the roster is constructed right now, we still are gonna have one of the better offenses in baseball. That is not. I'm not gonna say that's not up for debate, because it probably is. But, like, I mean, who's back? Ronald Acuna's back. Michael Harris is back. Matt Olson's back. Austin Riley's back. It's like Ozzy Albies is back. Orlando Arcia's back. Marcell Ozuna is still gonna be a DH. Travis Darno and Sean Murphy are still in split time at
Yeah.
catcher. What is that, 8?
DH, who's DHing?
Ozuna. So we still need to have a left field hole to fill. We have a backup infielder hole to fill that can play multiple positions on the infield and spell any of these guys. Pitching is going to be our X factor again. We still have Max Fried. We still have Charlie Morton. They're going to anchor the rotation. Spencer Strider. They're going to anchor the rotation. And then it's kind of a toss-up.
I'm pulling up the free agents list. How much money do they have? Are they backed up against the luxury tax? I bet you they are.
I doubt it.
Really?
No, we backloaded our contracts. So,
let's see, pitching.
In 2024, the active payroll is currently $167-ish million.
Okay, they have money.
The tax threshold is 237.
You see, but yeah, so they have money. How do you feel about Lourdes Gurriel Jr.?
What does he play? What position does he play?
I don't remember exactly which position in the outfield. It's one of the corners. I think left field. I want to say he plays left field. Yes, he plays left field. Okay, yes, I got it.
Wasn't he a top prospect back in the day?
Maybe way back in the day. He's 30 now.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good in Toronto, like 281, 277, 308. In his first year, he was like 281, 309, 446. The next year, 277, 327, 541. Next year, 308, 348, 534. Then 276, 319, 466. Then 291, 343, 400. And then he went to Arizona for some random reason and 261, 309, 463. I wouldn't be mad to take a flyer on him, but how much is he going to command? Like, is he going to settle for a 1-year prove-it deal like we did with Ozuna and then parlayed into a multi-year deal?
So last year, he signed a 1-year, $5.8-ish million deal with the Diamondbacks.
Why did I think he was traded?
Maybe he got traded. Let me see. He was traded. Sorry.
He was traded in the last year of a 7-year, $22 million contract.
Yes.
So in which he was making $1 million the first year, 1.5 the next, then 2.5, then 3.5, then 4.5, then 5.4.
Yeah, 5.
So if those numbers are to say, we're probably looking at 1 year, 6 or 7.
He did make an All-Star. He did make the All-Star team last year.
And he was injured for 2 years.
For better or for worse, he made the All-Star team last year. So I wonder.
I wouldn't be mad, but I wouldn't throw like $20 million for 2 years at him. Or like $20 million per year for 3 years, or like multiple years at him. $20 million for one, okay, fine. I'd maybe throw like if he wants a long-term deal, I'm probably prepared to throw 10 to 15 for 4. If he wants more than that, like I'll do it like maybe like 20 per for 1 or 2 years tops. Anything longer than that, I'm going down to like 10 to 15.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out. And
see. He has 4 years of so it's 4 years of service, and he's 30 years old, or he'll be 30 years old, I think.
Yeah, he's 30.
He is, or he will be. When the season starts, he'll be 30.
Does it matter? He's close to 30. He's when is his birthday? October. He just turned 30. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So he'll be 31 at the end of the season. It is what it is. Anyway, what? Oh yeah. What? How much are we retaining? Oh, okay. So we still have $1.25 million of Kirby Yates' salary that we're retaining. $1 million of Colin McHugh that we're retaining, and then $500,000 of Brad Hand that we are retaining. So that's not bad. And we still haven't gone through, like, Max Fried, I think, is arbitration eligible again. AJ Minter is arbitration eligible again. Oh, Kyle Wright was arbitration eligible, so that's interesting that we traded him in an arbitration year. That's interesting.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay him.
For 1 year.
Yeah, Kyle Wright.
Max Fried versus Kyle Wright. Yeah, I think I'd rather have Max Fried.
Oh, Max Fried's much better.
Okay, we've seen his upside.
Let me go over the pitchers then that are free agents. I'm going to exclude Shohei Ohtani because I don't think
he wants to. He's interested in playing for the Braves. He would entertain the possibility.
Okay.
The question is, will Alex Anthopoulos throw all of the money at him? Which is probably not. By the way, he's not going to be pitching this year.
That too. But I mean, just like you were talking long-term pitching too.
We need pitching.
So I'm assuming from what I've heard, Blake Snell is looking elsewhere. So we're gonna.
You're gonna command a lot of money.
We're gonna skip him. How about Aaron Nola? Oh, I've heard also he's looking elsewhere, or some other team was looking. Aaron Nola. How do you feel about Aaron Nola?
If I'm the Braves, I'm not looking for a frontline starter. I have 3 of them right now. And nothing else. Very little out behind. I have 3 frontline starters and very little else behind that. I've got
Charlie Morton's not a frontline starter. Is that who you're referring to?
Max Fried, Spencer Strider, and Charlie Morton. Yes, they are frontline starters.
Charlie Morton's not a frontline starter. Anuj, come on. That's a bit generous.
I think he still got it. Maybe for another year.
That's a bit generous. He was okay last year.
He was solid. But yeah. Okay, fine. We have 2 frontline starters and a solid third option.
Okay, I'm fine with the solid guy. Yeah, he's solid. He's not a frontline starter.
I'm not looking for a frontline starter. After that, we've got Bryce Elder, who looked good and then didn't look good, and
No, he's not. He's not.
He's a sink or swim guy. He's got Bryce Elder has to be a sink or swim guy. And then what do you have?
Top guys. Okay.
Ian Anderson, Colby Allard, and that's it.
All right. So here we go. How do you feel about Sonny Gray?
Sonny Gray, he was. Okay, so let's see. He made 7.5 in arbitration, or no, and then he made 10 million, 10 million, 10-7, 10-7, 12-7. Now he's a UFA, and he's 34 years old. I would.
He's gonna give you innings, though. He's gonna give you innings.
I would give him. I would not be mad at 2 years at like 10 to 15.
Oh, he's gonna ask for more. Okay.
Fine, 1 year at 20.
I heard Jordan Montgomery's going elsewhere. So I'm gonna skip him. Okay, Eduardo Rodriguez.
He's the guy that people said we should trade for, but he strikes me as a frontline starter. He opted out of the last 3 years of a.
Yep, I was just about to mention
5 years, $77 million contract. He was already making $14 million.
Yep.
And he's 30 years old.
31. He's 31. Yeah.
He's going to be 31 in this season. Yeah. 3 year. I wouldn't be mad with 3 years, 15 to 20.
Each, obviously, right?
Yeah. Each.
So like a 3 year, $60 million deal.
Yeah, 3 by 16 or 3 by 17. I wouldn't be mad.
He might ask for more than that, but okay.
Fine, 2 years, 20 plus.
I'm also skipping a lot of the international guys because I don't know a lot about them unless you know.
There's a Japanese guy.
Well, there's a few of them, but yeah, there's
Yamamoto.
International. Yeah, there's a few guys. There's a couple guys from Japan.
Who I know nothing about because I don't follow.
I don't know a lot about them. I'm sure they'll be great, but I don't think the Braves. I don't know the Braves on any of those.
We did try this once. You remember Kenshin Kawakami?
No, I do not. I don't know every single Braves pitcher ever. It's more of a
Kenshin Kawakami was a very good NPB pitcher in the NPB, and then he came to Atlanta and was not the best. He was not the greatest. He had a solid 2009, then he just fell off in 2010.
Well, how do you feel about Lucas Giolito?
Again, he's a frontline guy, so he's probably going to demand a lot of the open market. I think so.
He had a weird. So he was bad 2 years ago.
He's just on the Red Sox. He's just on the Whites.
Well, he was on a few teams last year.
He was traded. That's right. He was traded, but they retained his salary.
Yeah, then they got DFA'd.
Wait, the Angels DFA'd him? Probably I found his way to Cleveland.
Yeah, he got DFA'd by the Angels. He was on the Angels for like 3 weeks,
and he was making. Again, long term, I would say 10 to 15. Short term, 15 to 20.
Yeah, he's not. He was a frontline starter. He had a couple weird seasons. So we'll see how about Marcus Stroman?
Marcus Stroman, that's an interesting one. Let's see. He was good in Toronto. Like, he was solid in Toronto. So except for his last season. It kind of sucked. And then he was okay in 2019. He was solid in 2021. He didn't pitch 2020 because of COVID. And then he's strange. He's a strange case.
He's
33, and he's turning 33 years old.
He opted out of the $21 million for next year for next year. He
seems like a buy low guy. If he's willing to take 15 to 20 for a year, then okay.
Anuj,
I'll take a flyer.
Are you listening to me?
I see
He
it. He
opted
opted
out.
out of a 1 year, he opted out of $21 million guarantee this year.
Yeah, so
Oh,
why would he take 15 from the Braves? He's obviously looking for more. He thinks he can get more.
Or he's just looking for a better situation.
I don't think that's it. I don't think well, maybe. But most of the time, these guys are just looking for more money, which is fair. All right,
Look at Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm pretty sure he's looking for a better situation.
I think he's looking for more money too. How do you feel about Jack Flaherty?
Jack Flaherty. By the way, I am indeed looking up all these people on Spot Track. So let's see. What the hell happened after he left St. Louis? He had
He got traded to the Orioles and he was terrible. So
he was mid.
No, he was bad actually. I don't know. I know the kids love the word mid.
He had a 1.36 WAR. I think that counts as average. Last year though, he had a negative 0.15 WAR. So yeah, bad. His best season in 2019, he had a 5.75 WAR.
Yeah, but he's been hurt a lot lately. But
yeah, let's look at that.
There is. Oh. So no. So you're a no on Jack Flaherty.
And he's 28 years old. I wouldn't mind. So he made $5 million arbitration last year. Long term, I'd probably say 5 to 10. Short term, like 10 to 15.
That's a buy low guy. If you want him, I don't know if you do. Okay, so
I wouldn't mind.
Those are the bigger names. You also have guys like, well, I don't like that guy. So, well, not that I don't like it, but I don't think he's very good. So we'll go Kenta Maeda. How about him?
He was on the Cubs last, right?
No, he was on the Twins last year. He was pretty good.
No, I was thinking and it's Dodgers the last team I was thinking of. Yeah, but he's old. I mean, he's old, and let's see.
How old is he? You were okay with 34-year-old, one of the other guys that we had mentioned.
He's turning 36. He's turning 36.
Well,
he'll be 36. His last season was a 1.09 WAR and a 4.23 earned run average. So again, kind of mid.
Well, he didn't. Well, that was so he had a lower. He got hurt for a bit, so that's why his WAR was a little lower. But
okay, maybe. To
be
fair, his best ERA season, which was during COVID, he only had a 1.6 WAR.
Because it was only like 12 starts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually 11 to be precise.
11 starts. Okay, I'm not. I have to give you a number slightly off, so it doesn't sound like I'm looking this up because I really am not. No, I think he's pretty good. I think
2021 and 22, you're right. He was injured.
Yeah, and even last year he was hurt for a few. He got hurt for like a month. And once, so he's another guy who's like
1 year, 5 to 10 million.
So he doesn't have a good four seamer. He's all slider splitter. Splitters are very.
Like Kevin Gausman.
Yes. Well, Gausman has a better four seamer. Gausman actually has a good four seamer. Imagine Kevin Gausman but without a good four seamer and not as good of a slider. So he basically just sneaks his four seamer in for called strikes and hopes that his slider and splitter are working. And hopes that his slider and splitter are working. So if they're not, then he's kind of screwed. So it's a little more variable. But when he's doing well, he's like you said during the COVID season. That's when everything's clicking.
But he only had a 1.6 WAR, which is interesting. In his first year as a Dodger, he went 16-11 with 3.48 ERA and had a 2.83 WAR.
Okay, next guy, James Paxton. I know you don't like old guys. He's also very old. He's got 37. Now, to be fair to James Paxton, he doesn't have a lot of miles on his arm, and that's because he's always hurt.
Well, okay. Let's see. 4 starts in 2013, 13 in 2014, 13 in 2015, 20 in 2016, 24 in 2017, 28 in 2018, 29 in 2019, and then 5-1 in 19. Yeah, you're right.
But when he's
pitches, definitely a buy low.
But when he pitches, he's great. Okay, let me tell you. Last year, okay, look, the numbers don't look as pretty because he kind of slowed down in the last few starts. But up until his last few starts, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. Okay.
Look, some of these guys, I'm looking at money and stats right now. Once you open up the film, then you might be able to. Well, once I actually open up the film, I might be able to you might be able to sway me on some of these guys. But right now, I'm just looking based on statistics and money. He declined 13. The club declined $13 million. His $13 million option.
On Paxton?
Yeah.
Well,
the Red Sox declined a $13 million option. It was
the Red Sox
option.
Shedding salary. Red Sox are shedding salary.
Yeah. I don't know if I wouldn't give him $13 million for a year. Maybe like 6 or 7.
Fine. That's fine. Yeah, because again, he's going to make like 20 starts at most, but they'll be great. All right, last guy. I didn't mention, so the guy I didn't mention, and I said I didn't like him. I definitely don't like him. He's fine. But Michael Lorenzen, he's not very good. I don't think they should go after that. The last guy, because there's no upside, is Luis Severino.
What the hell happened to Luis Severino? He looked like a frontline starter, and then
well, he was for like two years. So this is weird.
That happened.
There was some whispers, okay, of tipping pitches. I don't know, but
well, how much of that is the Yankees pitching coach is a hack? And that's another thing that we might want to consider, right? Is
the Yankees.
What impact is Rick Kranitz going to have on these guys?
I would consider Yankees pitching system to be bad, but they're not one of the teams. They're not one of the teams that has like stay away from. Like the teams that I would think of for that would be like Kansas City, terrible pitching coaching. I'm blanking on other teams. Pittsburgh, don't trust what they do.
Why? Because Ray Searage? So Ray Searage.
They don't really get anything out of it.
He's not coaching there anymore. Lamau.
They don't do the right things with their guys.
They don't develop.
I'm blanking on other teams that are bad at development, but there's the Yankees would not be one of those. I mean, Colorado is just like tough. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if it's coaching. That's just like the environment. Literally the environment. I'm trying to think of another one. But anyway, Yankees I would not put on that list.
But I do wonder, if we did buy. Well, okay, so let's see. He made 4, then 10, then 10, then 11, then 15. Oh, right, he was injured. If he's a reclamation project, I'm probably signing him for a year and 10 to 15 million. And let's see what Rick Kranitz does. To be fair, we threw $23 million for 1 year at Josh Donaldson coming off a bad injury, and he parlayed. And he had a really good season, turned it into a long-term contract.
Yeah, he was fine.
He was solid. Yeah, so he was 1 year, $23 million, turned into 4 year, $92 million, and then he was, I guess, traded to the Yankees. Now he's with the Brewers. Oh, and he's a free agent. That's interesting.
Well, anyway, I don't want to keep you here because you just came after a run, and we've been going on for a while. No one expected this Braves episode in in middle of November, but this is
Yeah,
what
sure
you
didn't
guys
have this
get.
on the marquee.
Yeah, this is this is what everyone's clicking on. They're hoping for this kind of content. Like I said, I don't pay attention too much at this time of the year, so I doubt that other people are. But people can come back in like I said in March when they start paying attention. Come back and listen to this episode, and just if you've made it this far in the episode, just bookmark this, and you can listen to it again in March to see how wrong
How
we
my
are, especially Anuj.
valuations,
Yeah, because he already put these contracts he would pay, not necessarily what he thinks they're going to get, right? You're not saying that's what they're going to get. That's what you're saying. If you were
if I was Alex Anthopoulos, that's probably I'd feel comfortable with.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you were in the front office of the Braves, that's what you would put on the whiteboard. That's what you want to do. So
So it's also like what I wouldn't be mad at if we actually handed those contracts out.
Yeah, and again, the Braves have some room. I don't know. I don't. I
And
don't
also,
remember.
I generally trust Alex Anthopoulos when it comes to like. He's definitely good at making trades. His free agency's kind of been hit or miss, but like when he finds a diamond in the rough, he finds a diamond in the rough.
And the Braves aren't huge spenders too, so I don't know that they'll push up against the luxury tax. Yeah.
Nah, but I think he's gonna spend. We'll see We'll see if he goes up to like. Spot Track says he might go. That is currently saying like they would be up to like 230 million or something, 230 million or something. I think he said like we're looking to get above like 230, 240 million. I think at some point.
I guess they had a quote unquote disappointing end to the season, so perhaps that's.
Oh yeah, 100%. All that just flame out to the Phillies. We still gotta figure out like I think it's get our pitching straight and then figure out how to deal with such a long layoff. Once we get that, we're goal. And we are going on another deep run. But we need to figure those things out.